everyone. So I goofed and I started recording the video vlog today, and then nothing happened, and I forgot to continue doing the video.
We didn't really do anything today.
No, I played Animal Crossing. He played World of Warcraft.
I edited
videos. Literally, we didn't do anything. So,
got my video coming out tomorrow that I just finished.
How did that turn out, by the way?
Came out okay.
Came out okay?
Yeah, I think it was all right. Okay. It was a lot of fun.
I'm a little nervous because it makes me look kind of derpy. Do I look pretty derpy?
I mean, I kind of highlighted that.
You guys will know what we're talking about. Go to his channel tomorrow and watch his video because it's
tomorrow morning, 9 a.m.
You can watch me
in Japan.
You can watch me look derpy. Anyways, so since I didn't have anything recorded, I figured I always fall back to doing Talkin Vloggins.
Talkin Vloggin.
It's Talkin Vloggin. Yeah. It's because a lot of people seem to like us talking, and it's a good way for us to answer some questions and just do all that. So one of the questions we get asked a lot, and I think a lot of it is because of the virus, although we've been getting asked this a lot throughout our relationship, is why we work so well together as a couple.
We've narrowed it down to 3 things.
Well, let's give a little backstory on this.
I don't know if there was 3 things.
No, I think there was like 4 or 5.
We probably could narrow it down to 3 things.
Probably.
Anyway, go ahead.
But, okay, so Matt and I have been together 8 years total. 6 of those years, 5 of those years we owned a business together. And then 6 of those years we've basically worked side by side. Because the last year we were working together but not on a business. Mm-hmm. So we spent a lot of time together. We traveled 8 months together, so we were together 24 hours a day.
We've lived together like the whole time, pretty much.
I mean, we're pretty much together 24 hours a day. So one of the biggest questions I get asked is, how do you guys do it? Because if I had to start a business with my husband or my wife, blah, 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 or if I had to spend that much time with my significant other, I would want to kill them. Is an answer we get, or is something we hear a lot. Mm-hmm. So, it's something that I think is a topic that's really good to talk about, because Matt and I do have what we think are reasons we work so well together.
Yeah. I think the first being is we actually grow and develop ourselves.
A lot of self-help books, a lot of self-help material.
Like intentionally, not just accidents happen and then we learn from them. More like we seek expert advice, not just on relationships, but
just personally, like how to develop ourselves better as a person.
That way, because from that, I think we each realize that not everything is someone else's fault. Sometimes it's your own. Yeah. And I think taking that accountability and realizing that and trying to better yourself is a big contributor.
I agree. I think from that, there's a few key takeaways that we've learned. And this isn't just for relationships for us, but also just friendships and all of this. The number one I can think of is communication. Matt and I communicate everything. And sometimes people look at me and be like, no, your husband's hiding something. I'm like, no, literally, we talk about, where are you?
And now I'm trying to think of something that I'm hiding.
No, we are an open, we talk about each other's crushes. We've talked about, if we find somebody attractive, we'll mention it to each other. Literally anything under the sun.
I think we're very easygoing too, so.
Well, we talk about everything, because we don't want it to become a problem later. We don't want it, we don't want it to be like they don't trust us. We don't want to develop that feeling of uncertainty.
I think we learned this the most when we were doing our business together, because we had a lot of people working with us in our business. And I tell you, I kid you not, and with the clients too, the number one solution to any problem you have with any relationship in business or in this is just talking about it, because what you find out is oftentimes the other person's perspective actually makes sense as well. But because you guys didn't communicate and talk about whatever problem it is you're having, you guys don't even know each other's perspective, because a lot of times things in life happen to you or the other person or me, and you don't even know about it. And then you chalk it up to be like, oh yeah, everything's their fault and all this stuff, when in reality a bunch of things you don't even know about may have happened in their life that change a situation or something. Anyway,
There's a couple things I'll add to that too. Is another thing that happens if you don't communicate is you start creating assumptions, which
yes,
leads to
yes,
uncertainty, and which leads to misunderstanding.
which leads to making an ass out of
You
you and
and
me.
me. There are many times,
Mostly just the
and
person
I still do
assuming
this.
that.
Like, I'm not 100% not guilty of this, but it's so easy to be like, oh, they're probably thinking this way, or they're probably thinking that way, and when in reality, that's literally not what they're thinking.
I'll tell you something too with that is when you make an assumption with someone and it's negative and you never talk about it with them, it just, when you keep thinking about it over and over again in your head, it just builds up more and more and more and more. And meanwhile, the person you're making the assumptions about doesn't even know there's a problem between you
Yeah.
two. That happens too.
That happens a
And
lot.
then like when you guys see each other,
You're angry.
you've been angry for like 10 months, or whatever, 10 weeks, 10 months, 10 years at this person for a thing that they don't even know that they did. And then at that point it's so hard to mend that relationship, because one person's like, I don't even know what you're talking about, and the other person's like, please, it has been 10 years since this has been a problem.
Yeah.
It's been a problem the entire time. You always do this. And the other person's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. In that case, which is usually the case, the person assuming things is the ass.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't affect the other person. They don't even know what's going on. Anyway, this has happened many times, as you can see.
Matt gets very heated about this.
This happens a lot.
Well, and that's the thing.
People.
And that's one thing that I have to stress with communication too. And this goes to the second part of communication. One, don't assume, which we try not to do. And two is communication isn't just about talking, it's also about listening and trying to put yourself in that other person's shoes. Whether you agree with them or not, just trying to understand why they're thinking of things that way makes a difference.
Sometimes I'll add something to the putting yourself in other people's shoes. That doesn't always work. You have to put yourself in other people's shoes as well as the other person's like mindset, like why they think of things a certain way.
Yeah. You kind of have to dissect.
Because there is a lot of times where I put myself in somebody else's shoes and I'm like, well, that's not how I would react.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
you have to
you
put
gotta also understand the person.
Yeah, you have to know why they're coming at it the way they are.
Because something that makes somebody else angry or frustrates someone else may not make you frustrated.
Yeah.
Actually,
that's a very good point between both of us, because how Matt and I see a problem and deal with a problem are completely two separate things. Like, we've talked about this before. Matt is a very logical person. I come at things with my emotions. So when we have the same problem, I will get emotional and angry or frustrated over that issue when Matt is like looking at it from a completely different lens. And so sometimes Matt has to kind of think of things on like, okay, why does Kit think of things that way? And he knows me so well, having been with me for 8 years, that now he's like, okay, I can see why you think of things that way. And then he can give me advice and try to talk to me using my language.
And then I'm just like, I get it. Stop thinking of things that way. That's the solution.
I mean, that is the solution, but that doesn't work for me because that's not how I think. No, but I think the number one is that we communicate about everything. And if we get into arguments and at that moment, another thing that we both do, and this comes into communication, is we don't immediately just try to tear each other down.
Yeah, that's one thing too.
What we do is in the moments.
I'll tell you something too. If it's tense and you feel like you want to do that, don't have the conversation then.
Yeah.
Like
step
just
away.
go take a walk or something.
That's something Matt and I do, is like if we're both frustrated at each other and we know that there is going to be things that are said that just are impulsive, we'll be like, let me take a step back from this and
Yeah.
let me walk it
And you've
off.
gotten really good at that, actually.
I have. That was really bad for me.
Mm.
There actually I was very guilty of that. Um
She does that now, actually, where she's like really frustrated and she's like, just let me be alone. I'm like, okay.
And I don't do this just for Matt. I do this even at my work. If something frustrates me at work, I'll be like, guys, let me take a step back from this. Because when I'm frustrated and I'm angry, I can't think straight. All I'm seeing is like rage, right? Or I'm just thinking like, all I want to do is strangle somebody.
Yeah, try not to react in that moment of heat. Really step back, think about it. Even if it's something that has to be done like immediately, I still wouldn't do it immediately because it's worse to do it like wrong or with a poor attitude or something.
Yeah, because then that
than
creates
just
more
late,
tension.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that are like, no, we got to tackle it now. No, we have time.
Yeah.
Take a step back. Don't make it worse. But always come back to it. Don't just let it get swept under the rug. Always communicate, but allow yourself time to step back and talk, like think about it before talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably like the thing that we've worked on a lot in
Mm-hmm.
our relationship.
Yep. So I think
communication
is key.
But there are methods on how.
Continuing to grow self-development has, because we've each become better people than we were when we first started dating. It's not like one person just, we didn't grow apart, we grew together.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important too, because and then a third thing, well, this is more about just how the relationship works, but having similar goals, like destinations in life.
Similar ideals of what you want your life to look like. That helps a lot. I know so many of my friends.
Small differences, but we more or less want the same thing.
I mean, we might be doing things differently. Like, we might do separate things, but the end goal, we kind of converge. And I have a lot of friends that I know of who, they always tell me, I love doing this, but they don't, and it's always creates a tension.
Yeah.
People find a way to make it work. I'm not saying that's an end all be all.
Or like unbelief in a spouse or something. Like, you see that a lot too, especially in the entrepreneur field, where like somebody really wants to start a business, right? And then like everyone around them, including their family and their spouse, is like, I don't think you should do that. And I can understand that too, because there's been times where we've been financially strained, and it's just been like,
I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah.
But we've kind of learned to balance. But I think, going to the same destination in life is good. Like, because if one person wants to be like a horseback rider and wants to live in the country and all this stuff, and the other person wants to be the CEO of a Fortune 500 company
and live in New York City,
downtown New York,
there's going to be a disconnect.
There's
somebody's going to have to be compromised.
The closer you get, either one of them is going to give up their goal and be unhappy in the relationship or unhappy with the rest of their life, and then slowly develop this blame towards the other person, like this is the reason
I've seen it
I'm not what I am supposed to be. No, you're the reason you're not where you're supposed to be. Anyway, take self-accountability. And find someone that compliments you.
I think what I've noticed in my relationship, or what I've noticed in people's relationship, is when two people want different things, eventually they start drifting apart, and eventually that band snaps. It gets tighter and tighter and harder, but eventually that band's gonna snap.
Yeah, it's like there's a tension between two people, and then like one wants to be a horseback rider and the other one wants to be the downtown. Well, downtown's this way, the horseback riding's this way. But that's not to say that it I think I've also seen it where with the communication,
They
it
can make it work.
yeah, they can make it work.
Yeah.
Because, if you communicate enough, like sometimes you could get the other person interested in the other thing. Or uh, you can care less and less about the thing you wanted before from seeing other options. Anyway, I think it comes back to communication.
A lot of it. I think another reason I was just thinking about while we were talking about this is what was I thinking? I just had one. Oh, Matt and I, although we're together and we work on a lot of things together, we're also very independent, our
That's
own
true.
entity. And one of the things why that's so important to have your own entity is, see, like, the reason I'm with Matt is not because I need to be with him.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I want to be with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because, so I know this might sound harsh, and Matt and I have talked about this, so it's not like it's new for him to hear this, but
Yeah.
if Matt were to walk away and we ended the relationship, knock on wood that we don't, but if that were to happen, I know I'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I can take care of myself. I know that it's like I'm okay with who I am as a person, and I know I'll be okay.
Yeah. We just want to be with each other,
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not this, codependency.
Yeah, where we have to be
Relationship.
together. It's more that we want to be with each other.
We meet a lot of people like that too, where they just have to be in a relationship.
I used to be like that. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I used to be in relationships because I was very dependent on that person.
These are all things, hopefully everything we're saying doesn't like trigger or sound like some of you guys, because this goes back to the self-development. All this stuff, if you have issues like this, you can change it. It's not something like, well, I'm this way, that's too bad.
Well, no, I don't want to make it seem like we're being superior or anything. I just want to tell you what worked for us.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like if you're someone that feels like I don't know, like
I keep eating my hair.
I don't know, I'm just saying, like, people can better themselves,
Yeah, I mean, we can
like
always
all
be growing.
this stuff. If anyone has like a problem or something, you can learn to develop it and learn to grow it and change it. You're not ever stuck where you are. If you don't like the situation you're in right now, you can change it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
By either growing yourself or taking some action to change the situation you're in. Not just relationship, just in life in general.
Not saying that it's not hard. Like,
it can be hard depending on your situation.
Definitely. There are a lot of moments where, even for me, I mean, we've talked about this multiple times on my channel.
Yeah.
But, even when I have issues in my life or when I'm down and stuff, I always have a moment where I'll rant and I'll talk about it, but I'm always trying to look for a solution. And that's something that I always do, not just for myself, but also in my relationship too. Like, when we have issues with each other, we'll have the issue, we'll talk about the issue, but there's always like, okay, well, how can we fix it? How can we make this better so it's not a problem again? There's a lot of times where Matt and I will actually sit with each other and actually check in with each other to see like how our relationship is going and how we're both feeling about the relationship. Well, sometimes we'll even rate it and be like, okay, if you were to scale our relationship from 1 to 10, where are you in the like happiness or contentness within our relationship? And if it's low, then we'll be like, okay, well, what is your issue? Why are you unhappy? And how can we make it better? And so I don't know, it comes down to communication. Like, everything comes down to communication.
Yep.
And listening and being self-aware and also trying to understand why that person thinks and acts the way they do.
Yeah. I don't know. We covered a lot. Kind of went
At
on a
least
rant.
at least this is how our relationship works. I know everybody's relationship is different, but people ask us why our relationship works, and this is why.
I think the communication is just self growth and communication. And you want similar things out of life. You can't want completely different things. Like, you got to be somewhat compatible too.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I agree. I agree. Excuse me, I'm like burping.
So.
I agree. I think.
Oh, and what you said, independent.
Yeah, independence.
I don't think that's required, but it works for us because we don't have like this codependency thing.
Well, I always, it's see, and I think that's another reason why
Codependent relationships could work too. I don't know.
it could.
If both
I've
people
never.
are.
It
We're
doesn't work.
not,
It
so.
it doesn't work for me, but
Well, because you're not.
I'm a very independent person. We're both very
But if
independent
like we were
people.
both codependent, I don't know.
Yeah, it might.
And bettering ourselves and communicating might work.
See, I know.
I don't know.
I know this is gonna sound again harsh, right? But when I think about my relationship with Matt, I love him and I care about him and I want him in my life and it works and I'm very, very happy with him. But if this was to end, I will definitely be sad and I will definitely be hurting. But at the same time, I think I'm in that point in my life where I would be one of those people that I would wish him well. You know what I mean? Like, because ultimately I want happiness for both of us. And I know that we are both very, I'm trying to say this without sounding like callous, but I think we're both comfortable enough as who we are as a person to know that we will both be okay without the other person.
Confidence.
Yeah. I think what I'm trying to say is we are each whole human beings that come together to make like two whole human beings. Like we're not half and half.
Yeah, she's not like my better half or something. It's
No,
just
we are
like,
both our individual whole person.
we complement each other.
Yeah, I think that's what
We're like strawberries and whipped cream.
Yeah.
You know? Strawberries are good on their own.
Whipped cream is good on their own. Okay. Well, maybe you should pick
peanut butter and jelly.
Okay. Jelly is good on its own. Peanut butter. Why don't you come up with a thing that's good on their own? Milk is good on their own. Cereal is good on their own.
Okay, yeah, that's a better one.
I don't know why you picked whipped cream. You don't even like whipped cream.
I like whipped cream.
Yeah, it's good on their own. Like, have you ever done that thing where you shot whipped cream from a can in your mouth? Anyways, yeah, not to sound callous, I'm just saying that we're both whole human beings individually, and then we just really complement each other. Although we can't think of a food group that complements themselves without each other. So, I don't know. I think there's a lot of different reasons why we work, and a lot of it might be just unique to us and our own personalities. But I think if I was to nail down what I think would work generally for other people,
for everyone,
is communication.
Bingo! No.
Okay. I think that's it, right?
That was a long rant to just get to we talk.
Yeah.
Why does our relationship work? We talk about things.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of reasons, but I think that's definitely it. And we complement each other. We're completely two different people.
Yep.
He's logical.
I actually want to compliment you on making so many videos in a row.
Thank you.
Because I know how hard it is.
Thank you.
So.
He spent a day celebrating it with me, even though he didn't have to. So that was really nice. Thank you.
I mean, where else am I going to go?
That's true. You're with me 24 hours a day.
I'm here. I got nowhere else to be.
I have nothing better to do.
I'm not even supposed to be outside, really.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And that's another thing. I know, especially with Matt, because one of the things I appreciate about him is that he's developed himself so much.
Look at us complimenting each other.
Well, it's true. Like, you know, it's really out of your realm because you're a very logical thinker. And I've met a lot of people like you who I think get very self-absorbed. Well, people see it as self-absorbed. I realize that's not the case, but you've developed yourself enough that you, even though you don't feel that emotion, you try very hard to empathize or try to understand from somebody else's point of view. And that's not something that comes naturally to you, but you have worked really hard to develop that muscle, which I appreciate a lot. And I think a lot of people, in when you work with them in business and your friends also have come to appreciate that about you, because like I said, that's not a natural thing, and you've had to develop that on your own. And that just goes to show how much effort you put in yourself as a person to be better as a person, and that's something to.
Well, thank you.
That's something definitely. You always ask me what I love about you. That's actually one of the big things I love about you, is that you're always constantly trying to better yourself and try to become something even though it's not natural to you.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's it. That's why a relationship works. Yeah. You got anything else you want to add?
No, that was good.
Yeah. We talked about a lot of things. I'm actually thinking about doing another Q&A because I know a lot of people like that and they have a lot of questions they want to ask. I've been writing down some of the questions that people have been asking us since the last Q&A. So if you guys have more questions you want to ask, make sure to leave that in the comment below because I'm ready for another Q&A with my husband. So make sure to put it below, and then in the next couple days I'll record another Q&A.
Okay.
Maybe we'll do a live Q&A. That would be fun.
That's what I did on my channel.
All right. Well, stay safe out there, guys. We love you so much. Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us again for Talkin Vloggin about our relationship. And we'll see you tomorrow in tomorrow's vlog. Peace. Bye.
Talkin Vloggin.